It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here's your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Welcome in on a championship Monday. Oh, yeah, Final Four championship game tonight. Tiger football looks deeper after they had a mid-spring camp scrimmage in Nashville. And how, pray tell, did the hustle beat the Phoenix Suns? Well, it wasn't exactly the hustle, but it was like the hustle. Only one starter, Dylan Brooks, and they knock off the Suns. We've got a busy show today. TJ Reeves is going to join us from New Orleans. Ted Butler makes his debut. It's a game-time decision for Tiger Woods. Wow. Can't wait I think he's going to play. That is for sure. And, of course, it wouldn't be a weekend unless the Tigers lost another player. Landers Nolly now gone. So you think about this. The Tigers have lost, at least for the moment, right? I mean, they enter the portal. They can always come back if they choose. I don't think they will. But Landers Nolly is gone, joining John Camden, which I'm sad about, Sam Onu, Lester Quinones I'm really sad about, although that's for the NBA draft, and he hasn't closed the door on coming back to Memphis, but he did add he could transfer to another school. Didn't add it, but the verbiage is that door is open. Earl Timberlake is definitely gone. Josh Minot is gone. I'm sure Duran will join. So that's 7 guys. That means, and a lot of people think, oh, gosh, the Tigers have no team. Well, they actually do. Probably a team that could finish 500 in the American. And that's without adding anybody. And they will. You got to add these, guys, 7 guys who have left. But now you got Lomax, Harris, Dandridge. You still have the Lawson kids, Jonathan and Chandler. And Jonathan's supposed to be a stud. And then don't forget, you've got Hardaway's son. Jaden's still there. And Imani Bates hasn't left yet, nor has DeAndre Williams. That team would be okay, right? What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys. And you're going to add to the guys that you've lost. You'd have a decent team, and it's all going to depend on what is the IARP going to say and when are they going to say it.
Can I ask you a hard one?
Sure.
Who will you miss the most? But both personally and just on the basketball court.
That's easy for me.
Really?
Lester Quinones.
Really?
Lester's a two-way guy. Plays both ways, can shoot, can penetrate, is not selfish, plays hard every minute he's on the floor. I like him. I think he's an interesting guy. Yeah, that one is an easy one for me. The easiest one that on the side where I think he needs to go to another place is probably Sam Onu. I don't think he was really locked in to play basketball. He'd just gotten married. I don't think he's played basketball a long time. He certainly physically looks the part. He needed to get in shape. He never got in shape. So that was an easy one for Penny and his staff to go, okay, But the guy that he kind of came with, John Camden, I'm really sorry about because I think Camden is going to be a player. He's a good, tall shooter, hard to block his shot because he's so big, seems to be athletic enough. We didn't get to see enough of him.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen him play, but I've never heard anybody say a bad word about him. I mean, I've heard a lot of potential, it seems
nice
like.
Kid, too. I liked Earl Timberlake, and that's the one, and I mentioned this on Friday, that I'm most baffled about. Now, I do think he's going to go for a hardship. And the rumor is he'll end up at George Washington. He's from the D.C. area. So he's going to come up with some sort of a sick family member that he has to be closer to. And maybe that will be granted to him because if he doesn't get that, he's not a grad student. He's already used his transfer from Miami to Memphis. He's going to be 22 in November. If he doesn't get the hardship, he'll be 23 the next time he can play college basketball.
That's always the out, is the hardship. But it seems like it's pretty easy to get it. No, I shouldn't say it's easy to get it, but it seems pretty easy to get it.
It seems like it's pretty easy. I honestly, I hope for his sake that he does. Now, I don't know what Amani Bates is going to do. And some of this is going to be, like, if you're Amani Bates, right, you can transfer anywhere.
Free one.
It's a free one. You got to get bigger and stronger, and you know it. It makes sense to stay here, but if you're looking for the maximum experience and the maximum exposure, you're going to go to a place that's going to play in the postseason, right? You're going to play in the NCAA, you're going to play in a conference tournament, and this is all going to come down to what the IARP does to Memphis and when they do it. See, here's the other aspect, and you can ask any Ole Miss fan, they'll tell you all about this. If you keep delaying what the punishment's going to be, it's added to the punishment. It's a punishment in its own right. And I think there's enough pressure. And, Congressman Booker and Washburn, two very separate idealists, have come together, and they're putting pressure on the NCAA to make these decisions quicker. And I think the IARP is under enough pressure where you will see a decision made, I think, by the end of the summer, which is still enough time for Penny to get a team together to go with those that are, if he's still here, which I believe he will be. I would love to see the university do exactly what Kansas did with Bill Self. They said 5-year rollover extension, and even if you get NCAA sanctions, you're a coach.
Blindly supporting. But, I mean, also you lose that summer. Like if you're saying if it happens at the end of the summer, you lose your summer recruiting period, too, which is a huge time for AAU tournaments.
I can't see that you would not get a decision before the end of summer. But I still think because of the transfer portal, because you're talking about
Freshman
the high
recruiting.
School AAU circuit kind of recruiting, freshman guys. Penny has already sort of declared he's looking more interested. I'm sure if there was a 5-star guy that said, Penny's my guy, I want to play for him, he would take it. He might even take an upper 4-star guy that way. But I think he really wants to concentrate more on transfers. He said it more than once that the portal is the way to go in the American because everybody's an older kid. So,
especially the lower level teams, like the mid-level teams in the league, that's really what they're doing too. And you're almost competing with them at that point trying to do that. You think you can get better transfers than they can.
Yeah. Now, I know you were in New Orleans. I don't know how much you saw of it. I'm sure you've studied it, though. The Grizzlies, with only one starter, Dylan Brooks, who scored 30 points in that game. 6 guys are out. 6.
4 starters.
4 starters are not playing. And yet they upset the number 1 ranked team in a 1-2 showdown, 122-14, the Phoenix Suns. They break the Phoenix Suns' 9-game winning streak. So Memphis has now won 7 in a row. Also missing, by the way, in the game, with about 4 minutes left in the second quarter, Taylor Jenkins got tossed.
Two coaches tossed.
So you had 6 players and a coach not on the floor in the second half. That's crazy. How do they win this game?
I have no idea. I'm done trying to explain it, Dave. I think they're the 03-04 Pistons. I'll say it now. I know they won a championship, and that's a bold take. But, I mean, what have you seen? It seems like the sky's the limit for expectation at this point. I think they're the 03-04 Pistons.
You know what? I believe this core, if they stay together, and I think you were already gone. I discussed this with Brian Dacus. Brian Windhorst of ESPN Plus did a great story on Robert Pera. Robert Pera is now the 3rd wealthiest owner in this league. Only more money in the pockets of Jeff Bezos, the owner of the Clippers, and Dan Gilbert, the owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers. I believe Bezos has like $100 million or something like that. Gilbert's got $20 billion, and here comes Robert Pera now, who did not even have, I don't think, $1 billion when he bought this team, and now he's worth $15 billion. And it sure seems from that article that he's willing, Robert Pera is, to go into the tax. So if he were, we'll see, because if he keeps Tyus Jones, that'll be, I think, a big clue. But I don't know that a team that has hardly any playoff experience, the first-round series last year, they did beat Golden State in a big game. But I think they're a year or two away from really winning a championship. But who knows? Like you say, 03-04. But that Detroit Pistons team, that team was experienced.
Absolutely. Had
They
some
were all
veteran
veterans.
players, yeah.
None of them were the ages of the Grizzlies.
In fact, they despised their number one pick rookie, Darko Milicic, who famously dropped out of the league, number one overall pick, all that kind of stuff. Famously despised him because he was too young and too up and coming. They're like, we're the veteran guys. So you make a good point in that regard. But being able to sign and keep that core together, not just like everyone thinks money, I can go get a star, but being able to keep your role players, regardless of what they are going to get paid in market value, that is extremely underrated and huge that Para has the money to do that.
It's astonishing. It is really promising for the Memphis Grizzlies because this next 8-year run could be filled with a lot of real good positive vibes at FedEx Forum. So now today, if the playoffs started, and this is getting to be more and more what the deal is going to be, the Grizzlies would end up playing the winner of the Minnesota Timberwolves LA Clippers series. I am torn between this because the matchup with the Timberwolves has been tough.
Really tough.
But the Clippers, if they got Paul George back now, I don't know about Kawhi Leonard.
It's reported he's coming back.
So if Leonard comes back, you want to play one of those? You want to play that team? And that team's got a lot of playoff experience. They went to the Western Conference Finals last year.
And then Kawhi speaks for himself with his championship pedigree. It's a great question, too, because like you said, the matchup with the Timberwolves has been atrocious for the Grizzlies. I don't even think they've beaten the Timberwolves this year at all.
Look at that.
And then you got the Clippers with two of the best players in the world. How do you choose between those two things?
And plenty of playoff experience.
That's right.
Against a team that does not have that playoff experience. It's almost like you wish you had been the third seed instead of the second seed, which you're now locked into. But that is the way it works. Here's the biggest thing, though, and I'm going to get to it even more, I guess, in Rust when we get to metals. But the Spurs and the Pelicans look like they're going to be Pelicans 9 and Spurs 10. The Lakers do not appear to be in this thing. With 4 games left, they're 2 games behind. And
no LeBron,
no AD.
Well, AD's back. Played just last 2 games, but he's not himself.
No, he's not in good enough shape. He's missed so many games this year. It's tough for the Lakers. There's no doubt about that. But this would just be the second time in LeBron's history that he didn't make the playoffs. His rookie year with Cleveland, and now this. And is this the end? Is this the beginning of the end? I know he wants to play, and he wants to play with his son, and that's, 2 years away? Or 3 years away?
2, yeah, one of those 2.
But, man, tough first-round matchup for the Grizz no matter what happens.
Also, the Grizzlies have split 2-2 with the T-Wolves. The home team won all the games so far. Okay. So a good matchup nonetheless.
Yeah, and you'll have home court advantage.
That's right.
So that goes a long, long way. So, and here we go. We got our Final Four set. We're going to talk with TJ Reeves, who's down in New Orleans, about that. But, man, when you look at this, North Carolina's so big, right? But Kansas is big, too.
That's right.
So you got Manick and Baycott inside. And Manick, of course, can step outside and shoot. I've loved this guy. Did you see the picture of him when he was at Oklahoma?
No beard?
No beard, baby face, short hair, and now he looks like this mountain man. I don't like the look personally. I think he looked better before, but he's a heck of a player. But you got McCormack and Wilson inside to counter that height. I think Kansas is every bit as big. If Braun, Agbaji, Harris, and Martin shoot like they have been, I think Kansas is going to win the game. I'm kind of pulling for North Carolina. They would be tied. There's only one other team that was an 8 seed that won a national title. I think it was NC State.
Really?
It might have been NC State's Jim Valvano team. If you Google lowest or highest seeds ever to win a national title, I think there was an 8 seed that did it.
It looks like 1985 Villanova.
Oh, Villanova in 85. That 85 Villanova beat the Tigers. Should have known that.
Going into the Final Four, I really thought North Carolina was playing the best basketball of the 4 teams, and then I watched Kansas play Villanova. Obviously, Villanova had an injury concern. But regardless,
to Moore, Justin Moore.
Yeah, one of their best players too. But after watching that Kansas game, I was like, man, I'm not sure if North Carolina's playing the best of the 4 teams remaining because Kansas looked really, really good.
No, I agree with that. I think Kansas, they're 4 or 4.5 point favorites today. My little app says 4.5. I listened to Greg and Eli, and they said 4. But I'm pulling for UNC. I love the way that team has come together under Hubert Davis. I was happy to see them end Mike Krzyzewski's little run, but Kansas is really playing good. I think Kansas is going to win that game tonight. Give me your prediction on that real quick.
I think Kansas is going to win as well, but I really would like to see Hubert. Of all the teams in sports, Dave, there's no team I have more true, genuine contempt for than the University of Kansas and Bill Self. So it really pains me to say I think they're going to win.
Okay, I'm feeling the same exact way you are on that. All right, so we told you TJ coming in a couple of minutes. Ted Butler makes his spring debut on golf, and the chances of Tiger Woods playing at Augusta, that comes your way. We got precious metals we got to get to, but we'll first tell you this portion of the show is brought to you by the good folks at Old Dominick, the proud hometown partner of the Tigers and really all of Memphis. Located right in the heart of downtown, it's the only full distillery tour that you will find. Old Dominick's been around forever. You'll learn about the history. You'll learn about the craft of distilling and how they make these beautiful spirits from grain to glass. You will learn how it's all done. And then the best part, the tour ends with a curated tasting of all of the Old Dominick portfolio of spirits right at 305 South Front Street in the heart of downtown Memphis. It is a cool place. And by the way, after hours bar, elegant, not stuffy, and you can try with the mixologist all of the Old Dominick portfolio at that point. Go check it out. You'll love it. You're looking for something different, unique, go check out Old Dominick. It's time for precious metals. Got to give a bronze to J.J. Spawn. He won his first PGA Tour event in his 147th start. How many new winners that had over 100 starts this year that have finally won? I think there's 5 of them.
Yeah, I think we're up to 5 now.
It's incredible. But he gets to make the Masters. Do you realize that he had to play the Korn Ferry Tour last year to get back his card? And a year later, he's going to be playing at Augusta because he won yesterday. What a great story that is. I got to give the Grizz a silver medal. With 1 starter, no head coach, they beat Phoenix, and now they've won 7 games in a row. And I got 2 gold medals I got to give out. I'll start with Duke and North Carolina because that game was a classic. How well played was that game? Clutch shooting, clutch defense, clutch everything, back and forth. What was it, 17 lead changes? I mean, just a phenomenal basketball game. And then North Carolina and Hubert Davis took 2 in a row from Krzyzewski. Beat him in Cameron indoor and then beat him to end his career. Great story. And then I got to give South Carolina, the women Gamecocks. They knocked off UConn and Gino Auriemma, who had never lost in a title game. That's incredible. First of all, it's incredible that Gino Auriemma's UConn Huskies have made 28 straight Sweet 16s. Think about that. 28 straight Sweet 16s. Now they have the advantage of playing at home the whole time because all the first 2 rounds are always in Connecticut. And in this particular case, to get to the Final Four, the next 2 games were in Bridgeport. So the guy has the advantage of home court the whole time. But still, 28, that's amazing.
And it's like 14 straight Final Fours,
It is
too.
14 straight Final Fours. His record in championship games was perfect. He had never lost a championship game. He was 11-0 until last night. South Carolina, Dawn Staley's team with Ali, trying to remember her last name, Boston, Aaliyah Boston. She was fantastic. They had a guard that was out of her mind. Had a career-high 26 last night. Hastings, I believe, is her name. Or Destiny Hastings. I think that's it. Anyway, they won their 2nd national title under Dawn Staley. It's the 2nd in school of history. Congratulations to the Gamecocks. Those are my 2 gold medals.
That was a good game, but you're right. North Carolina Duke, instant classic. My bronze medal goes to number 3 on Kansas, DeJuan Harris. I don't see a ton of college basketball, so when I see these guys and I see them stand out, I got to give them credit. This guy was face guarding Gillespie the whole night. And Gillespie did get a few points. He's a good player.
Yeah.
But that guy was playing some of the best defense I've seen in a college basketball game. I was beyond impressed by him, and so he gets a bronze medal from me.
Is he going to be on Love tonight?
He has to be, right?
Yeah,
that has to be the
right,
matchup.
right.
And I bet they're face guarding him the same way.
Yeah.
My silver medal, Kevin Durant 2 days ago, in a loss against the Hawks, had 55 points on 19 of 28 shooting. I know it's a loss, but anytime one of these guys scores 50, I have to give him a medal. I mean, in the silver, I got to give it to him. And also yesterday, Tyrese Halliburton had 17 assists in a game, 19 points as well. So 2 standout performances this weekend in the NBA. And my gold medal goes to Caleb Love, but also Ian Eagle, who all throughout the tournament run has been given. I mean, the puns for the name Love are never ending, and you know Ian Eagle's got all of them.
Yeah.
What's love got to do with it? Love connection. You gotta love it. So my gold medal goes to Ian Eagle and Caleb Love for a great March Madness run.
I happen to love Ian Eagle. I think he is terrific. So those are the positive. I got 2 rusts. I'm going to give the Lakers one. They've lost 6 straight now. They were a certainty to make some form of postseason, whether it was the playoff or the play-in, right? It was, 3 weeks ago, you wouldn't have said they're going to miss it.
Not with LeBron.
And here come the Spurs, and the Lakers have lost 6 in a row, and they're going to miss postseason. It'll only be, as we mentioned earlier, the second time in LeBron's career that he has missed the playoffs. And my final rust goes to Duke's players for skipping the handshake line. Dukies, right? They're supposed to be class, sportsmanship. It's just shaking a hand. You know these guys, the fact that they just skipped out. At least Coach K went through it, and he was classy in that regard. I give him a lot of credit for that. But his team, those players, they get a rust from me.
I was very surprised he and Hubert didn't exchange any words after the game. It was very, professional. I was just a little bit surprised by that, nonetheless. My rust goes to Rui Hachimura, who yesterday in the Wizards game had 0 points in 28 minutes of play.
Wow.
I couldn't.
That's hard to do.
Really. He's 0 for 7 from the field. They lost by 42 to the Celtics. The Celtics played 13 players against them, so never a good sign in that regard.
Wow. And those are our medals for today. I'm sitting in the Family Leisure Studios. A reminder, and we were there this past weekend, and my wife and I just got some new patio stuff. They have the state-of-the-art stuff in there, and they're looking for people. They had so many customers in there. If you're looking for a new path in your career, they have swimming pool, hot tub, patio furniture salespeople needs, chemicals sales associate, parts and service department associates. They're looking for people to help install above-ground pools. There's opportunity with a great company and good pay. All you got to do is stop by and see our friends at Family Leisure. And you know our title sponsor? That's simple. It's Homer. Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch, getting more new cars in every day. And here is the pledge from their general manager, Chris True. You'll never pay more than sticker price. There are some dealerships that are taking advantage. That doesn't happen at Homer. You'll never pay more than sticker price when you get on Lamar. It's Highway 78 when you get into Mississippi. The very first exit is Craft Road. Turn left, and you'll arrive at the place where they've raised the bar. It's the way car business should be done at Homer Skelton Hyundai. To New Orleans we go. TJ Reeves is right around the corner.
Former Memphis Tiger Gabe Kuhn joins Brett Norsworthy for Sports Time on Sports 56, presented by Lexus of Memphis. Weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, fellas. It's Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and I want to make you aware of something. Did you know that April is Diamond Month? Well, it is. And if your wife or your girlfriend or maybe your daughter has a birthday in April, diamond is her birthstone. If your wedding anniversary is in April, then your wife surely deserves a diamond. Whatever the occasion, a small gift-wrapped box containing beautiful diamond jewelry from Russell Brothers will always hit a home run and make you a hero in her eyes. A ring or a pendant, earrings or bracelet. You just can't go wrong with a piece of diamond jewelry from Russell Brothers. It'll be a gift that she'll treasure for many years. For 5 decades, Russell Brothers has been helping Memphis men find the very best in diamond jewelry for their sweethearts. In yellow or white gold, in platinum or sterling, you cannot go wrong with a gift of exquisite diamond jewelry from Russell Brothers Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released, available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of Ariat jeans for men, women, and children. You will love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Ariat just arrived, plus plenty of stock in proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier is the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Hello, Batesville, Mississippi. It's Big Pop, inviting you to Mississippi's biggest and best gun shows. Big Pop Gun Shows will be in Batesville April 9th and 10th at the Batesville Civic Center, 290 Civic Center Drive. Saturday hours is 9 to 5, Sunday hours 10 to 5. Adult admission is $8, kids 6 to 11 is only $2. Buying, selling, trading, gun appraisals, over 250 tables of merchandise to see. The largest vendors around. Grab your $1 coupon now at BigPopGunShows.com. All federal, state, local laws must apply. See y'all this weekend.
Belly Acres' motto is City-Fied Farm Fresh. The goal is simple: provide a fun, unique farm-to-table experience for the whole family. 2 great locations, Regalia at 6130 Poplar and in Overton Square at 2102 Trimble Place. Overton Square hours Sunday through Thursday, 11A to 9P. Friday and Saturday, 11A to 10P. Regalia, Sunday through Thursday, 10:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 10:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. Signature burgers are made from 100% grass-fed beef. Sandwiches, salads, and the best milkshakes anywhere. The burgers, so good, like the Daria or the Double Daria, and the melt in your mouth. And you have to try the Voodoo Moo Moo. It is the quality brand the Belly Acres team has developed using grass-fed beef with creative homemade toppings in a fun farm setting right here in the city. The goal at Belly Acres, to become even more sustainable as they grow. In Overton Square and in Regalia, the very best quality available in Memphis, burger shakes and smiles at Belly Acres.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again, it's the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
She's a good girl. To New Orleans we go. Our on-site reporter exclusively, well, not exactly, for us is TJ Reeves on assignment for the Final Four. He watched 2 really good semifinal games, and we got the Blue Bloods tonight. Also, the big cheaters, Kansas and North Carolina. They've both gotten away with murder as the Tigers are on pins and needles about what the IARP is going to do to them. That's another story. Good morning, TJ. How are you?
Always good to be with you, especially from a scene like this at the Big Easy. I am here to testify with you, Wolo, that I have had the privilege at being at 20 of these now. 20 of them, working various roles, SiriusXM, Fox Sports Radio, and now with the TuneIn mobile app and their service. And that is the loudest continuous crowd that at a finish to a Final Four game that I can ever recall in any of these football stadiums. I know there have been big moments. When Villanova won on the last second 3 against North Carolina in Houston, that was a blow the roof off moment. But in terms of the last 3 or 4 minutes of that Duke-Carolina game, that's as loud constantly as anything I have been a part of in this Final Four setting. It was some night, and you really wonder, how much did North Carolina spend emotionally and psychologically just to beat Duke and get to this game?
How was the actual attendance? What do you think the real figure was?
I think it's legit 70,000. I mean, it was full.
Wow.
And it was full before the Kansas-Villanova game began. It's not like the Carolina and Duke fans showed up midway through the first half or at halftime. It was full, and it was electric. It was everything you would have thought. And Kansas played so brilliantly in the first half and took Villanova out of the game. I would say there were probably 12, maybe 15,000 Kansas fans. probably 8,000 Villanova fans, maybe 10. The rest, 45 or 50,000, was Duke, Carolina. And man, did they make some noise, especially in the second half of that game. It was some scene for the drama. And Wolo, it was a very well played end of the game. One big shot after another, dramatic moment after another. I thought we were building to a buzzer beater at the very end. Somebody, going to be heroic forever in that instance. But North Carolina made the plays, made their free throws. And I was right there as Coach K was walking off the floor, took some video of that for the final time. Unreal. Like we've been theorizing on your show. How would his career end? It ends with a loss to North Carolina.
Well, he was rather classy, by the way, going and shaking hands with everybody. Social media has made a big deal about his team not participating in a handshake line. What's your sense of all that? Was it addressed post-game?
Yeah, he didn't really talk about that. He didn't really get asked about that, but that's a pretty classless thing. And I said the same thing when the Kentucky team lost to Wisconsin in the 2015 Final Four in Indianapolis. And by the way, Duke won that Final Four a couple of nights later by beating Wisconsin and winning the national title. The Kentucky guys did not go shake hands. The Harrison twins and Karl Anthony Towns and those guys, they stalked off the floor the same way. So this has happened before, where a team in devastating defeat won't go shake hands. And you're right. The Duke guys, most of them took off and went back down the tunnel. And Coach K was at least there with his staff for that moment. Again, hated, bitter rival. And what a bitter pill to have lost your final home game forever at Cameron Indoor Stadium to North Carolina. And now to lose to them in your final game ever in the Final Four, that's an all-timer for Hubert Davis and for the Tar Heels. Wolo, there's no doubt about that. So it's going to be some scene in the championship game, but that's going to be tough to top coming up.
Yeah. All right. So give me your thoughts about that. When I look at that, they're both so good inside. The Jayhawks, which are 4.5 point favorites, have McCormack and Wilson inside. They got Braun, Agbaji, Harris, and Martin outside. But guess what? Manick and Baycott inside are pretty good. Baycott with 20-something rebounds. Love and Davis outside. Black can bang. He played all 40 minutes. I think this one could be a classic. I think Kansas is the favorite here, though.
Yeah, they are the favorite. And again, McCormack, has he made some money for the next level for the NBA at the last two games of this NCAA tournament, the second half against Miami, and that game the other night, he lit up Villanova. Now, the interesting thing, like you mentioned, is Baycott can guard him. He can block his shot. He can alter his shot. How is Baycott's ankle? We don't know. He hurt his ankle late in the Duke game.
Right.
How effective? Is he 50% of what he normally is? Is he 75%? That would be hard to believe, as bad as his ankle twisted and the fact that he was limping around. We'll see. Adrenaline may get going. We'll see. The biggest thing for North Carolina is, can they get outside shots like from Brady Manick or Caleb Love, the outstanding shooter? Can they get those to fall? Because Kansas already demonstrated ever since that Miami game, they're burying everything since the second half of the Miami game. That continued the other night. This is a fascinating matchup tonight on who can make some shots early. Does McCormack get in foul trouble? Keep an eye on that. He picked up a couple of fouls the other night and had to go sit down in the first half. Does he get in foul trouble? We'll see.
I mentioned earlier facetiously about South and the North Carolina program, all under siege, academic fraud, paying the players with Bill Self on tape. And a columnist in Memphis made a big point of that in a column that ran this morning. I'm curious if that's been brought up at all, or is that just swept under the rug like that happens with the Blue Bloods?
It is probably the latter. It has not been brought up, to your question, and yet the NCAA constantly refers to them as student athletes in the press conferences, et cetera. The student athletes will be joining us. Let's take questions for the student athletes. Let us not forget, to your point, North Carolina had a widespread academic fraud with a fraudulent class that they all knew about, and they made no pretense to the NCAA that this was a fraudulent class that they were all taking and it was academic fraud. But their basic defense was, somebody should have done something about it and told us that class didn't count and didn't matter and blah, blah, blah. And this is as much your fault as it is our fault. Ridiculous. But they allowed them to get away with it. So yeah, there have been some scandals, and Bill Self has had scandals because he's tied up with that whole Adidas FBI thing, but it's not much of the backdrop for sure for this game tonight. It's more about on the floor. Can Carolina finish it off in Hubert Davis's first season? That would be wild. Or will Bill Self get a second national title. We all know about the first national title. We were there in San Antonio. You were there. I was there. It still escapes me 14 years later on how they didn't grab Mario Chalmers and foul him before he tied that game. But this would be the second one for Bill Self if they can get it tonight, Wolo.
Yeah, you have to remind me, up 9 with 2:12 to go. You just don't
You were down to my left. You were down to my left about 30, 40 feet in front of the Memphis bench. I was down to your right, and Chalmers was right in front of me. So you don't have to remind me. Chalmers shot that ball about 25 feet right in front of me. And that's Kansas's only national title. Bill Self has not won one since in the 14 years since. So there's some pressure on him tonight too, my friend.
I think he's going to get one tonight. I think it'll be a great game, though. That is for sure. Last thing before we let you go, let's take our thoughts from New Orleans down the road a little bit to Augusta National.
Wow.
And your prediction, Tiger Woods says it's a game time decision. We're about to talk about that very matter with Ted Butler in just a couple of minutes, his debut this spring. And so I ask you, will Tiger play?
He's playing. He's going to try. Now, what does he do? Does he shoot 80 on the first day and withdraw? I don't know. Again, he hasn't played a competitive round of golf in a year and 3 months, basically. So I would not doubt him on giving it a shot. Again, you know this, and you're going to explain this with Ted, and you've been there many times. I've been there for practice rounds. It's a very tough walk up and down those hills.
Oh, yeah.
Can he hold up on that? But there's a lot of intrigue. He was there practicing yesterday. He's going to give it a try. He's not doing all this to not try it. He will try it. How effective?
Tiger Woods, and it's at the Masters. No way he shoots 80, my friend. No way. Thank you much. Enjoy the game tonight. Your 20th Final Four. Wow.
Always a blast to be here. Let's hope we get a great game. Thank you for having me, and let's see what happens with Carolina and Kansas, my friend.
And it'll be fun. I think it's as close as could be. I can't believe Kansas has got to give away that many points. I'll be very disappointed if this is not as good as the Duke North Carolina game.
That's high expectations, though. That's an instant classic.
I know, but I got the feeling this one could be very much the same. This portion of our show is brought to you by James Davis Men's Store. That's in the Laurelwood Shopping Center. I went in there with my son. My son's getting married. I mentioned this the other day, and we went to get a suit. We got the Paul Batenley deal, where you still get 2 Paul Batenley suits for $7.95. I mean, you cannot beat this deal. And it's just so much fun to go in there. So many folks buzzing around. They're all looking at all the new spring and summer fashions. And I had to get them the Stance shirt to fit that suit. And the Stance shirt, you know how that works. 3 measurements, perfect fitting shirt, in the neck, everywhere. 2 measurements for pants. And the only place you can get the Stance system is at James Davis Men's Store. There's not another men's store in Memphis that has this new custom fitting technology. I'm actually going to see Rob Joyner tomorrow to find out some of the newer ideas that they have when it comes to great stores and great prices. That's James Davis Men's Store in the Laurelwood Shopping Center. Let's pause for just a second, and when we come back, it's golf with Ted Butler. I don't know how many years, and I'll have to ask him. Starting with George Lapidus, how many years he's been on the air, but we'll dig deep. He's got news on Rachel Heck. He's also got the latest on his Tiger gonna play. He comes your way in just a minute.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
If you have damage to your home and have your insurance carrier involved, you need a great contractor. You also need a team that has seen claims of all shapes and sizes, residential or commercial. After our inspection, we'll share our findings and give you our professional opinion. Some people say you get what you pay for. However, our opinion is free. Trust the name you can depend on, like the tens of thousands of families Brian and I have served over the past 20 years here in the Mid-South. Brian Elder Roofing. We'll measure your roof from outer space and share our team's experience for your property and claim. Repaired roofs, replacement roofs, big roofs, tiny roofs, insurance roofs, flat roofs, TPO roofs, asphalt roofs, tile roofs, slate roofs, metal roofs. If your roof needs some love, call me. 901-867-0303 for Brian Elder Roofing and Contracting.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Elders Roofing Solutions.
Is your company going through a merger or downsizing and you feel your job is in jeopardy? Don't delay. Call Pro Resume, the #1 source for professional resumes in the Mid-South. Go to proresume.biz or call 685-1950, the fastest way to a new job.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
I am trying in earnest to find this tweet that I saw from Seth Hennigan, who basically said something to the effect of, anybody wanting to contribute to the NIL of our offensive linemen, please contact me. How about that? He's lobbying for his O-line. Love it. That's the kind of kid Seth Hennigan is. And I did mention, I think the Tigers are deeper. And that's what we learned at the football game that was in there. And that Nashville thing is a pretty cool idea. It helps recruit Nashville. And the Tigers' first 2 games this next season are on the road. And so many of these guys haven't, like they're young freshmen or whatever, key players, haven't been on the road at all or often. This is a good way to teach them how to do that. It's great bonding. I think really smart idea. And what a battle this thing with Hennigan and Gunnell is going to be. This portion of the show brought to you by Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric, and, of course, the tune-up. And the tune-up is so critical twice a year. Your system is going to last longer if it is in tune and it becomes efficient, which means your house gets warm or it gets cool, and your MLGW bill stays neat, stays reliable, stays what it should be. It doesn't go up. So there's so many different reasons why you want to do this. Plus the safety checks. In the winter, get a carbon monoxide test, and they take their camera through your system, make sure there's no leaks. In the spring, when it's getting ready for AC and we're going to need it soon, now they do a Freon check. It's really cool. 16 energy points that they make sure are in tune, and they clean your outside units beautifully. All you got to do is call 384-3511. Conway Service. All right. It's spring. You could tell I got a little allergic reaction. Got to get my Claritin in there. And when it's spring, it simply means Ted Butler joins us. Ted Butler, how many years now have you done a radio show with this station with either George Lapidus or me?
30.
30. It's your 30th anniversary. How about that? That's great.
52 years teaching and 30 on the radio.
Man. All right. Let's get to the heart of the matter. Your favorite player of all time is Tiger Woods. We know that. Tiger Woods played 18 holes with his son and Justin Thomas about a week and a half ago. I think he actually played 18 holes again yesterday. Will Tiger Woods tee it up Thursday morning?
Well, it sure looks like it to me. Chambly had a comment on his show the other night that when Tiger was out at Riviera, he walked, the 18th green at Riviera, and then those steps up to the clubhouse.
Yeah.
He walked up those steps, and that's a really, really high with no effort at all. And I think he's playing. I mean, I really do. He's too much a competitor not to. his legs get a little tired. He can probably gut it out, but I feel pretty sure he's playing. I'm glad.
Well, it makes all the sense in the world that he would try. And I say that because it's the only major where if you play this, you're not taking somebody else's spot.
Right, right.
So if he tries to tee off on Thursday and, after the round on Thursday doesn't shoot that well and his legs are killing him, he can go, I tried, guys. I'm just not ready. No harm done because it's an invitational, and as a past champion, he can play until, he's 65 or whatever their new rule is. And he wouldn't be taking anything away from anybody else. So I'm with you. I think he's going to give it a go. I think it's about as good a thing as can happen for golf.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's so much new talent now. They're coming from all over the world. There's great players coming from everywhere every week, and we need to have a hero and an icon. Somebody that's out there that's the bully. And I don't think anybody has stepped up enough yet to call them that. There's a lot of good players, though. I mean, they're all right on the precipice of being superstars.
I'm not sure that I've seen the PGA Tour as competitive and balanced as this one is. Since this year began, and remember they start in the fall, that's their new year. But just in the last few weeks, I think we've had 5 first-time winners. 5. And these are not young guys that are just out of college. These winners had over 100 starts on the PGA Tour. This latest one, J.J. Spahn, I just mentioned, this was his 147th start. He had to go back last year to the Korn Ferry Tour in order to get back his card, and here it is a year later, and he's going to be at Augusta on Thursday.
Well, I think that the training now, the pros and the teaching and the equipment they've got now to make golfers better. Just the strengthening, the dieting, everything is so much better than it used to be. They know what to work on. They know which muscles work. They've got equipment to do it. And if they're willing to put in the effort, and there's no reason a guy 40 years old can't play tour golf. I mean, look at the senior tour. These guys are good too. It's just a new generation in making golfers athletes.
So from the very beginning, 52 years ago when you first started teaching, to now, what part of the game do you think is most improved by people? And some of that has to do with fitness. I agree. Flexibility maybe too.
Well, yeah, the players now are way more athletic than 52 years ago. Then it would be you go play golf and go sit in the bar, have a few beers, maybe hit a few balls. Now these guys are working out all day, every day. And the instruction has gotten so much better too because all of the video equipment and all these TrackMan, there's things that are so much more available now that I don't think it's so much for the average golfer, but for a player with a talent that can control the spin of his golf ball on purpose and can hit it to the yard. All this new technology is fantastic. And like you say, the training, they're all so strong. They hit it so far. Who ever heard of 370-yard drives? And that's 100 yards longer than 52 years ago.
And that's really a combination of fitness level that you're talking about, teaching approach where you can see what you're doing and how to get the spin that you want for distance, a draw spin, most likely. And then it has to be the equipment. Now, which is the most important new piece of equipment? The way the golf ball is designed now, or shafts, or the materials used, or a combination of everything?
It's a combination of everything. The hybrid has been probably the biggest boon to everybody for golf, pros and amateurs, because you can hit it so much up in the air and so far and stop it on greens where 2 irons didn't used to hold and 3 irons. So they're good, and then the shafts they're more consistent. I mean, you know what you get. Back a while ago, the golf balls are better. Everything about it is better, and the guys that really want to win, they pay the price.
Is there a new piece of equipment out there that you see as a teacher The last time I got really excited was when they, Bushnell invented the rangefinder. I mean, everybody went out and bought that because now you didn't have to step out things and you got accurate stuff. Is there a new piece of equipment, ball, club, whatever, that has struck your fancy that you think is a must?
No, I don't think anything is really a must. There's every company's making great long drivers. Irons they're all good. The specs can be perfect. I don't think there's anything particularly standing
how about
out.
Club fitting. What do you think about that new part of it? Like, even Edwin Watts, they now say you can go into their store and they've got that computer with a TrackMan and everything that will help you fit your clubs. There's guys like Scott Felix. That's what they do for a living. How important is this new custom fitting that everybody is going to do?
Well, for professionals, absolutely. It's you need to do it. I did club fittings back for Bert Dargy 50 years ago. With we had the Polaroid cameras, and I could get club head speed and X amount of speed with a stiff shaft. Now you could do medium stiff. You can get tipped in different areas. The quality control is so much better. But club fitting has always been a big deal, but it's way off the charts right now. I mean, you can they go down to things I've even heard of, but it's and it helps the players, helps them all.
No doubt. I think it's worth the investment because you're learning about your swinging when you're getting fitted too. There's an educational part to all of that. Rachel
Absolutely.
Heck, she's been a big name around here since she was basically in 7th grade. She's now
Right.
at Stanford. Last year, she made that inaugural Masters women's amateur field, and she finished either second or third. I can't remember. This
Right,
year,
bogey at 18, right?
right. This year, she I think made the cut and played Augusta. What happened?
She did make the cut. She birdied the 16th and 17th holes in the second round, and then made a 6-foot par putt on 18 to qualify. But what happened Saturday, I don't know. I saw the score, 79. That's the highest score I've seen her shoot in, since high school. So I really don't know what happened. There was nobody posted anything, and I hadn't talked to Robert, so I don't know what didn't work. But I can see the scores coming up, and like double bogey in 12 and bogey and just made a whole bunch of bogeys, and I don't know why.
Well, she'll have more chances because if everything I've read about Rachel is that she loves college golf. She's in no hurry to be an LPGA person. She's now heavily involved in like the ROTC and fitness in that regard. So she'll get 2 more chances as an amateur, I think, to play in that women's thing at Augusta.
And she's got her NIL money with Stiefel Nicholas, the investment company.
Oh, really?
And my son works there. And I did see a commercial about it the other day. It's really cool about the quality of this company and quality of her golf game, jumping around. It's coming out soon.
Wow! So she
got all the bases covered.
I love it. That is incredible. Good for Rachel Heck, that's for sure. Phil Mickelson, it was brought up again. He's not playing at Augusta this year because of the statements that he made regarding the new league and where the money was coming from, and a total disregard, frankly, for humanity, but a great opportunity, according to him, using their money to right golf, which seems to me to be in a pretty right position anyway. Give me your sense of what happens with Phil Mickelson in the next 6 months to a year.
Well, I don't know what's going to happen with him, but golf is right now. I mean, going over there and that. I've never been a big Phil fan in the first place. When he first came on tour, when he first came on tour, he was a jerk, and then for years he was obnoxious and mean, and then right after his wife and his mother had cancer, he improved. He all of a sudden had this smile and this thumbs up all the time, socialized with everybody. It was to me, it was a fake change, but he just never has been my favorite golfer, obviously. And not just because of Tiger. I just don't like the things he said about the tour. it's made him a multimillionaire.
Oh yeah,
and he's criticizing and the things they do, and I don't get enough money here, and he's getting $1 jillion on their pension plan. He's just like stabbing the tour in the back, and I don't like it. I'm not sure what's going to happen with him. I guess he could apologize and let him come back, but I think he's made a big mistake.
All right. Who's going to win at Augusta? Give me your quick prediction, because we're going to make our predictions on Wednesday.
Well, you have to. You just have to think about Scotty Scheffler right now. I mean, 3 wins already, big, strong, kills it, putts great. I mean, he would have to be the favorite. I think Justin Thomas is due.
How about Rory?
Just don't know. Rory just doesn't putt well. For years now we've been saying this. He plays good golf. His short weighted are not good, and his putting's not good.
That's not good at Augusta. That's for
well,
sure.
He hasn't he hasn't done anything spectacular in quite some time. So I'm not looking at him. There's other veterans. I'm thinking Tony Finau might have a good tournament. He's been close a couple times, and he's had a lot of top 10 finishes and majors. He can play that golf course.
That'd be a good story.
Yeah, when Tiger won, he was in that group right in front of him.
Ted, it's so good to have you back for year number 30. Can't believe it. That's great.
Yeah, me either.
Thank you, my friend. We appreciate it.
Okay, Dave.
That is Ted Butler on golf for the 30th straight year. Can't wait to talk with him every week in this time slot. And that'll do it for us. This final portion of the show brought to you by the Spirit Shop. That's Eddie Connor's place right there at the corner of Poplar and St. Nick, 4848 Poplar. Go in there. You'll be amazed at the spatial engineering. There is so much product in there. They've got everything from the local IPA beers to the Old Dominick Distillery products to valuable, expensive bourbon, the middle of the road, vodkas, whatever you want, including if you're looking for some sort of you want to rim, your drink, a little seasoning on the rim. They've got that. They've got everything you could possibly want. Plus, Eddie Connor loves to educate. He'll talk spirits with you all day long. Everybody in the place will. Family owned and operated since 1969. Time to load up for this week. For the game tonight, it's the Spirit Shop. That'll do it. We think TJ Reeves and Ted Butler. Johnny Radio is right around the corner. Have a great day, everyone.
I know the sweetest thing in Memphis.